Crazy Ivan is an old game that I just don't see anyone talking about on here. Initially released in the 26th of January 1996 in the EU for the PlayStation 1, with releases for the Sega Saturn and PC to follow, it mostly garnered average review scores. Being published and developed by Psygnosis, it seems to fit the bill for that company. I actually own quite a few games from them. ODT and Bugs Life being two that I played on the PlayStation all the time back in the day. The company behind this game is just quite unlucky. I'll have to make a video about it some other time, but for now, let's talk about Crazy Ivan. I happen to own the PC port that came out in December 1996. Making this a port of a console first-person shooter, pretty rare for the time given that first-person shooters were mostly born on the PC platform, especially in the 90s. We take the mantle of a crazed Russian, Ivan Popovich, who pilots a giant mecha in order to fight invading robot aliens who have taken people prisoner. Our job is to destroy these robots and save the prisoners, and of course, be crazy while doing it. There it is, that's the jewel case with some crud on the case. Unfortunately, couldn't get that off, but a cool looking case, but even better, the disc looks even doper. I love the red. And the manual, which is still in good condition, thankfully. We take a look at this bad boy and look at all of this cool stuff. We get supplemental information regarding the robot that Crazy Ivan is piloting. They even reference activating Crazy Ivan, but it's really just instructions on how to install the game. But we get a background on Crazy Ivan himself via these doctor's notes journaled out into this manual, and it is kind of crazy. It's like we're reading a case file on this Crazy Ivan, and that's kind of like why I love the manuals of the olden days. In the briefest of summaries, basically the doctor is going over what he speculates why he's going through these psychotic episodes, kind of goes into his background, outlines some background information of certain events that happened or before the invasion and whatnot. Really good stuff. I'm just gonna kind of let it go through on the screen here so you can pause and read some of it. But the whole manual is basically in character telling you about fundamentals of the game. It's absolutely lovely to just read. I was actually really worried about this little scratch on the disc. I was like, no way, this game might have some issues installing, but thankfully the installer came right up and I was able to complete the process, which was cool. And it's kind of like that moment of the PlayStation where you would put in a game and it would just hang on that logo for years until all of a sudden the game starts up. I have a little attachment now that allows me to hold the camera and also have hands for functioning gaming and whatnot. So I was demonstrating that in a few of the games that I have installed on this machine. Mortal Kombat 3, we got 3D Pinball, which is a favorite of mine. And then finally we have Unreal. I kind of just go through the stack of games, just kind of showing you what I was able to get on the machine. Unreal does not work very well, to be honest. It's okay, but there's some work I have to do on this computer. Once we install the game, we actually we get into it pretty quickly here. Unfortunately, I did not take any footage of the main menu. As you can see, the game looks very much like a PlayStation Doom type of shooter, but it controls like an actual mecha. It is horrible. I could not get used to the controls. Had to refer to the user manual because I couldn't find anything online, of course. Thank God I kept that manual. But once I got a hold of the controls, my idea was to beeline it for one of the big boss aliens. You can choose to go at them in any order. I chose to go after Dwarf because I was like, yeah, he's probably the smallest one. So I'm traveling and stuff. Get a couple messages from my team. All of a sudden, I see Dwarf, and it looks like a giant Metal Gear. It's insane. The boss fight lasted maybe 2 or 3 minutes with me strafing and figuring out the controls, but eventually we bring down the big robot and I collect the little blue prisoners that it dropped after being destroyed, in which case I was then ambushed by smaller robots, and then I saved the prisoners that came out of them. Unfortunately, at this point I had to pause the game because the computer itself was overheating. So once I get that fixed, I'm going to make a part 2 to this video, and then we can take a look further into the story there. But thanks for watching this video, and if you want to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Anyways, this has been your boy Reaver Senpai, and I am signing out.